It's electric focus, and if you've watched my last video, you'll know I've recently got the XC40 Recharge Twin Ultra Edition, and I've given my first impressions on that car, but I also want to keep you up to date with any issues I get on the car so that you are fully up to speed with how that goes. And I did have an issue on day one, unfortunately, so I'm just going to give you an outline to what happened and how that was fixed. So let's get into the video. I got the XC40 just a few weeks ago, and when you first get a car and you're setting everything up, you know, it normally takes a few minutes to understand what you need to do, especially on the new sort of systems these days, and it's the Android-based Google system on the XC40. And I'm setting everything up on there, and one of the things I wanted to do was set up two profiles, one for myself, one for my wife, so that we could then attach those to each of the keys, and then when you go to the car, so if I go to the car with my keys, it then changes all the profiles to my settings, and vice versa if my wife goes to the car and uses her keys. Really, really good function. And I went to try and set that up, and I was struggling to work out how to do it because it said kept saying to swipe down on the screen, and I couldn't swipe down on the screen. So I'm thinking, is it something I'm doing wrong? I then looked at some of the apps available and was looking to download some of those apps as well as doing this. And when I went in to download those apps, it just seemed to be that the apps were getting stuck. They weren't actually downloading. And again, I'm starting to think, is this my fault? Do I need to connect to Wi-Fi rather than being on the mobile signal? So there was you go through these sort of questions yourself, thinking that you haven't done it properly. And I was reading the instructions a few times, and I really couldn't see what I was doing wrong. So I got in touch with Volvo. Now, what I would say, because I've used this a few times now, is when you get in touch with Volvo, they ask you if you want to communicate via WhatsApp. And I found that to be really, really useful. You get a very quick response, and it's great that you can get sort of 24-hour, it seems to be, communication with Volvo. And I was on WhatsApp asking a question about what I was doing with the setup. The first thing that Volvo asked me to do was try resetting the infotainment system, which often fixes glitches. So I followed the instructions they gave me, and I'm going to give those to you now because there are a couple of methods so that you know what to do if this happens. So the first one and common one is to hold down the home screen button in the center and keep holding it until you go into the screen cleaning mode, and then continue to hold it until the screen goes blank, and then you'll see a Volvo logo come up and you know that the reset has occurred. And then after a few seconds the system will boot back up and you'll see the icons coming back on the screen, so you know that's reset. There is a second method to try, which is by holding in the defrost button, and I'm just going to put this up on the screen now so you can see how to do it, and you can take a screenshot if you need to for the future. But you hold in the defrost button and then the emergency light comes on above your head, and then you have to leave it for a while. So I tried both those methods and neither method sorted the problem. So I went back to Volvo and explained that, and they suggested that I go into the showroom and speak to one of their specialist advisors who would be happy to help. So that's what I did. I took the car into Volvo, my local showroom, and they were not happy to help at all, quite frankly. The person that was asked to come out and see me clearly didn't want to be bothered, probably a sales manager or something. He came out of the office and immediately looked like they weren't interested. Told them the problem. They came out to the car with me. He had a look, was looking at the swipe down, was saying that he wasn't sure if this particular model that was the method to use. I said, well, it's exactly what it says in the instructions, and he went into the instructions on the screen and could see that was the case. He tried again himself to swipe down and could see it wasn't working. He then started to say that it might be something to do with the keys being in the car, one of them being in the car at the same time the other. I can't remember which way around he said, but I'd read about all that and I'd followed those instructions and I explained that to him, but he seemed quite adamant that it was something to do with the keys, the reason I couldn't swipe down. And I said to him, if he thinks that's the problem, then perhaps we can go into the showroom. He can look at the showroom car, because they had one there, brand new C40 it was, but basically the same car. And I asked him to demonstrate to me on that car that it was down to the keys. Anyway, cut a long story short, didn't work. And he easily swiped down on that car, and there clearly was a problem with the car, which he reluctantly admitted and said that I needed to book it in to get it looked at. When I took it in, somebody came out to see me, and much more informed. He said that this is a known fault. As soon as I started talking about it, he said it's a known fault. The software will need resetting, and that basically back to factory settings. And then after that, he said that when he's done this, he hasn't had any people come back. However, it could happen again because Volvo need to do an update on the software to correct the problem. And that's going to be done in Q3 this year, around Q3 this year time. So he said, what we can do is reset it for now. Hopefully it will be fine. He hasn't had anybody come back. And then if it happens again, then it'll have to be reset again. I did notice there is a factory reset on there, and I did wonder if I could do it myself. But the way he described it to me seemed like a bit of hassle. Needs to be in the show, needs to be in the workshop really to get it done. So he seemed to be very knowledgeable, understood what the problem was, and said that he could get it sorted quite quickly. So I had it, I was waiting because there, as usual, no loan cars available. But it only took half an hour to fix. So I was really pleased, because I had this vision of already, only a day in, having to wait ages for this problem to be sorted. But it was fixed in about half an hour. I came back, gave me the keys, and I was on my way. So since then, everything's worked fine. I can now swipe down, I could add profiles, and also the apps are uploading perfectly. So a nice, quick and easy fix. It's a shame I had a problem on day one. I'm glad it's sorted. I'll look forward to them doing the proper update in Q3 so that I know it's fixed completely. But that's just giving you a bit of information on what's happened so far with the car. Hopefully there won't be any more problems for a while, but I'll keep you informed. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you soon.